It's a Sunday morning on CBS, looking back at 2025. And here again is Jane Pauley.
During this season of joy, our thoughts may turn bittersweet when we recall loved ones who've left us over the years, or even people we've never met, but whose lives touched our world in so many ways. To those we lost in 2025, our Lee Cowan helps us say hail and farewell.
Raindrops keep falling on my head.
It felt like those we lost this year were as numerous as raindrops.
How do you do, old sport? I'm Gatsby.
Luminaries like Robert Redford, who challenged Hollywood to do better, to think harder, to take risks.
Hello?
Mr. Bennett?
Yes?
This is Bob Woodward of the Washington Post. I'm sorry to bother you at home. I was wondering if we could confirm some information on one of your employees, Mr. Howard Hunt.
He was of Hollywood, but he preferred to live away from it.
If anybody ever asks me why you don't live in Beverly Hills, now I'll be able to tell them.
You don't have to say, you just have to stand here and shoot this.
His Sundance Film Institute and Festival gave independent filmmakers a bit of sun at Sundance.
The smaller stories.
Yeah, the smaller stories, the more offbeat stories, the more controversial.
Beat you to the bottom.
He lived long enough to see fellow Oscar winner Gene Hackman pass away.
If I'd have started in the first 15, I could have won it.
No. You just weren't good enough, that's all.
Hackman shone just as brightly. He could be gentle.
I love you guys.
And powerful. And sometimes a wink said it all.
You like baseball, do you, Anderson?
Yeah, I do. You know, it's the only time when a black man can wave a stick at a white man and not start a riot.
The real-life heroes from the civil rights movement are sadly getting more scarce every day. Sam Moore's Soul Man was meant to show pride and resilience. And there's one person who lived those values for 111 years, Viola Fletcher, the oldest witness to the Tulsa Race Massacre.
Well, I feel that it's got to be done now.
Then there was Charles Person, the youngest among the original famed Freedom Riders protest in 1961. Joseph McNeil took a stand by sitting at a whites-only Woolworth's lunch counter. Joanne Allen was among the first to endure the desegregation of schools all across the South. Bobby Kane was, too. He became the first black student to graduate under those conditions. A decade later, courage like that inspired the likes of Jesse Colin Young and the Youngbloods to record a song with a message of belonging.
Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one.
It permeated the summer of love.
Dance to the music.
The late Sly Stone of Sly and the Family Stone got on board the inclusion train too.
I am everyday people. Yeah.
He certainly had an ear for the times. Dick Cheney, who had an ear for politics, started his career the same year that song came out. He went on to become the most influential vice president in history, especially in the wake of 9/11.
How'd that day change you personally? Not from a policy standpoint, but change you?
Well, it's been alleged by some of my friends that 9/11 did change Cheney, that when he was a Secretary of Defense in the first Bush administration, he was a warm, pleasant, lovable fellow, and he became more of a hard rock afterwards. And I think it's probably true.
He remained a staunch conservative until he voted for Democrat Kamala Harris, that is, back in 2024.
I, David Hackett Souter.
That's similar to Supreme Court Justice David Souter. Nominated by George H.W. Bush, he leaned more to the left in his later years. He left us at 85.
There's the same percentage of screwballs, lightweights, and boobs in Congress as in your hometown or mine of Cody, Wyoming.
Right in the middle was Senator Alan Simpson, who balanced his conservative views with more moderate stands, a plain-spoken cowboy from the plains of Wyoming, who got his wings at 93.
If I had wings, no one would ask me, should I fly?
Peter Yarrow of Peter, Paul, and Mary got his wings this year, too. The tenor helped bridge the gap between folk and pop. He was 86.
I can see clearly now, the rain is gone.
Jimmy Cliff bridged another gap, helping make reggae mainstream. The former choir boy from Jamaica found some of his inspiration in the traditions of gospel music.
Many rivers to cross.
Pope Francis crossed that final river this year, a day after he blessed the faithful in St. Peter's Square on Easter Sunday. Whether you believe in heaven as a destination or not, there's no doubt the heavens are unending. Astronaut James Lovell never landed on the moon, but he saw it closer than most.
You can't live on what happened in the past. You have to think of what you can do in the future. That's what I've done.
Jim Lovell took to the skies for the last time at age 97.
Awesome, that word that means to inspire awe.
Back on Earth, astrophysicist Fred Espenek was chasing our galaxy with a telescope. He witnessed the moon blot out the sun 52 times. A sci-fi experience in real life. We lost others who imagined life beyond the stars in movie posters. Drew Struzan, for example, was the artist behind the theater posters for the Star Wars films and the Back to the Future trilogy. Renato Casaro gave life to blockbusters like Rambo and Terminator 2. And then there was Joe Karoff. He was the artist who created the James Bond logo.
And you begin to see a gun.
We lost some who appeared in those classic Bond films. Tough guys like Bruce Glover, the assassin in Diamonds Are Forever, and Joe Don Baker, the arms dealer in The Living Daylights, and so many, many more.
Tatanka.
Tonka.
Here. Tatanka.
You keep getting turned down for jobs under one name, and pretty soon that name gets a reputation for being unemployable, so you change your name.
I would proclaim for coming New Year fireworks. Also boat races.
Your soul is mine.
Are you gonna bark all day, little doggy? Or are you gonna bite?
Little baby, funny face. Is it hard for you?
Sentí todo mi dolor.
We lost Rebecca Del Rio from Mulholland Drive, the same year that we lost director David Lynch, who put her in that film.
People should not confuse characters in your movies with your state of mind.
Stories are stories. And like I say, you know, the artist doesn't have to suffer to show suffering.
Diane Ladd, a longtime Oscar nominee, offered plenty of suffering in Lynch's Wild at Heart.
I want you to know something, sweetheart. I've done something so bad.
Her daughter, Laura Dern, and the rest of her fans mourned her loss at 89. Sharing a spot on Hollywood's Walk of Fame, far from the beach, is the Beach Boys, Brian Wilson.
Oh, yeah. When we did the voices to the vibrations, I said to myself, this is going to be a #1 record.
He was called the poet laureate of surf culture.
Catch a wave and you're sitting on top of the world.
But when it came to the poetry of baseball, there were few better than Bob Uecker.
Just a bit outside.
He was a ball player who became Mr. Baseball.
All right, maybe I wasn't the greatest player of all time.
A pioneer for his wit and self-deprecating humor.
What's your favorite Bob Uecker line?
Just a bit outside. That's where my wife put me a lot of times.
Nina Cusick was left outside of the men in marathoning, until that is, she became the first woman to enter the New York City Marathon, and the first official female winner of the Boston Marathon. In figure skating, Dick Button was the first to land a double axel, and the first American to bring home gold in Olympic figure skating twice. He was elegant and fierce, much the way George Foreman was in the boxing ring. He got a heavyweight world title first in his 20s, and then, unbelievably, again in his 40s. Even if you never saw him box, you probably saw him cook. He described his George Foreman grill as a real knockout.
The new heavyweight champion!
Another ringmaster and master marketer was Hulk Hogan, the face of professional wrestling for decades. He was the ultimate showman. The Hulk died of cardiac arrest at age 71. There were this year so many unnatural deaths, especially it seems on college campuses, from Brown University just before Christmas to Utah Valley University, where political activist Charlie Kirk was murdered. He was there organizing young voters around Christian conservative values. The students who saw what happened will never be the same.
My name is Anne-Marie Hochhalter, and I graduated in the class of 2000 from Columbine High School.
Anne-Marie Hochhalter survived the mass shooting at Columbine, but 26 years later it caught up with her. She died from injuries related to the shooting that left her paralyzed. She was only 43.
Leave this area immediately.
It's hard to fathom just how much life does come after a tragedy. John Cleary was shot on the campus of Kent State University, a moment captured in a Life magazine photo. But he ended up finishing his degree in architecture. He lived another 55 years. We lost others in architecture too. David Childs designed the Freedom Tower in the wake of 9/11.
And that curve leads you into here.
We lost Frank Gehry, perhaps the most recognizable American architect since Frank Lloyd Wright. And then there was Giorgio Armani, an architect of fashion, who turned red carpet events into press conferences. Who was wearing him got a lot of coverage. So many of those who asked the questions, trying to get answers about all kinds of things, left us this year, like our colleague Mark Knoller. With his booming voice and a treasure trove of presidential trivia, he gave CBS's White House coverage a real spark.
Mark Knoller, CBS News, the White House.
Morris Banks, a cameraman who was equally intimidating in stature. He traveled the world for CBS to bring us stories of people and events. The same was true of our Sunday morning colleague, Jim McLaughlin, and so many, many more.
People will always listen and want to hear stories told by human voices.
Human voices, sometimes shouting in the wilderness, can do remarkably good things, even if those voices are voicing pain.
And I won't stop fighting. I will never be silenced.
Virginia Giuffre was the first of Jeffrey Epstein's victims to go public. Soon other survivors joined her. They began speaking with one voice, shining lights in the dark.
The buck stops when every single monster gets held accountable and our children are safe. And we need everyone's help.
She was just 41.
I'd like to be remembered then for helping the chimps rather than making scientific discoveries about them.
Conservationist Jane Goodall raised her voice from the jungles of East Africa, where her work with chimpanzees made us look at ourselves and our relationship with the animal kingdom in a different and special way.
We're not quite as different from the rest of the animal kingdom as we used to think.
What is it, Lassie?
In fact, animals can seem every bit as human as we are. June Lockhart played Lassie's mom, among other things. She seemed always as intuitive as Lassie herself.
What's the matter, girl? Aren't you hungry?
That golden era of TV started the career of Rob Reiner, too.
This isn't the dingbat, it's me, the meathead.
And while he was a good actor, it was directing where he really made his mark.
Why are you getting so upset? This is not about you.
Yes, it is. You are a human affront to all women, and I am a woman.
Hey, I don't feel great about this, but I don't hear anyone complaining.
Is the Billy Crystal character in that movie any part of you at all?
It's totally me.
Totally you.
It's totally me, 100% me. Making a complete and utter mess of my dating life, trying to figure all these things out. I then thought, this is a great idea for a movie.
Do you think I'm weird? Definitely. No, man, seriously.
Name some of your favorite movies, and chances are Rob Reiner directed them.
One louder. Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
From comedy to drama,
You can't handle the truth!
he had his finger on our pulse the way few people did.
Grandpa, maybe you could come over and read it again to me tomorrow.
As you wish.
Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle left us far too soon.
You know what I think the most important thing in life is? It's love. You want to know what I love? Beer, Norm? Yeah, a quick one.
Another familiar face was George Wendt. As Norm on Cheers, there's no wonder everybody knew his name.
Well, Sammy, I love that stool. If there's a heaven, I don't want to go there unless my stool is waiting for me. And I'll tell you what, even God better not be on it.
Wendt was 76. We also lost David Ketchum from Get Smart.
Said you 86?
Is this the shirt I paid $30 for?
And Malcolm Jamal Warner from The Cosby Show. It is hard, isn't it, to think of any of them getting any older? Take TV's Dennis the Menace. Child actor Jane Orth couldn't stay young forever, though.
Mom, how come you always say thank goodness instead of good night?
He was 73 when he died at his home in Florida.
Dr. Kildare.
And then there was actor Richard Chamberlain, who played the young intern in Dr. Kildare. He went on to star in blockbuster TV miniseries like Shogun and The Thornbirds.
There's so much else out there. So many other lives you might choose.
Both those novels hit the bestseller list, but so did the Confessions of a Shopaholic series. Those were authored by Madeline Wickham, who wrote under the pen name Sophie Kinsella.
And you're hoping that people will enjoy your book, but you don't know, and off it goes. But then you meet somebody who says, well, you know what, I read your book in the middle of the night when I was recovering from an operation and it got me through. I mean, how could you do anything better in life than that?
The British author died of brain cancer at just 55. Few British playwrights have been compared to Shakespeare, but Tom Stoppard was.
It seemed to me that having a play on at the National Theatre, for example, was some kind of Everest which only a chosen few could ever even hope to aspire to. It turns out to be something which can happen to people like me.
He was 88 when he slipped this mortal coil.
What?
Kiss my grits.
For all the creative writers and performers that we did lose this year, we were really struck by the sheer number of TV personalities who passed away.
It's probably going to be a long meeting, though, so why don't you get coffee for all the guys here?
I don't get coffee, Mr. Carlson. We agreed. You have to draw the line somewhere.
Get back in your stall.
Hello, dear.
Just going to,
Then how come you got a C in spelling?
Because that dumb teacher misspelled A.
Bye-bye, Cassius. Thank you all for escorting me to the Playhouse door.
Bye, Miss Yvonne.
Because I'm not just Major Margaret Houlihan, Army nurse. I'm also Margaret Houlihan, frail, vulnerable, sensitive female. And if you touch one nurse while I'm gone, I'll cut your hands off.
Portrayals of those in our nation's uniform rarely got better than MASH, or later, Top Gun. Few could top Tom Cruise as a cocky naval aviator, but Val Kilmer did.
You can be my wingman anytime.
He played so many other roles, from Jim Morrison of The Doors to Doc Holliday in Tombstone.
We started a game we never got to finish.
I like characters. I think that's what people have enjoyed most in my acting.
But it was Iceman that stuck with all of us. right till the very end.
Who's the better pilot, you or me?
This is a nice moment. Let's not ruin it.
Val Kilmer was 65. Airmen who saw real combat in World War II are few and far between these days. Like John Lucky Luckadoo. They called him that because he survived so much. And he continued to. He made it to 103. Joe Harris lived to 108, one of the oldest World War II paratroopers. George Hardy earned his wings at just 19, making him one of the youngest Tuskegee Airmen. Jesse Mahaffey survived the attack on Pearl Harbor and the sinking of another ship just a year later. He was 102. Donald McPherson distinguished himself as an ace in the skies above Okinawa. And Julia Parsons, one of the last Enigma codebreakers, left us too this year. Some, however, never came home, but Vietnam POW Lieutenant Colonel Robert Sturm finally did. The Pulitzer Prize-winning picture said it all. His family seeing his face for the first time in almost 6 years.
That face, that wonderful face.
Words never match those feelings, but lyricist Alan Bergman's words got pretty close.
Those words have to sit on those notes just right, so, so that they sing.
He and his wife, co-writer Marilyn Bergman, are perhaps best known for their classic, The Way We Were.
What time is it, Dorothy?
It's 20 after 5.
So many couples we remember the way they were, like Dorothy Vogel and her late husband Herb. On modest means, upstairs in their rent-controlled apartment, they amassed an art collection worth millions.
If you like art and you can afford it, you can buy it. You don't have to be wealthy.
True to their modesty, before their deaths, they gave most of it away.
I'll give a little bit. I'll give a little bit of my life for you.
What Rick Davies gave away was his artistry behind the Wurlitzer electric piano. He gave the supergroup Supertramp its signature chart-topping sound.
Goodbye, stranger. It's been nice.
He was 81. We lost the space ace, Ace Frehley, of the heavy metal group Kiss this year too. He made fans believe his playing made his guitar smoke. And maybe it did. And then there was Ozzy Osbourne, the lead singer of Black Sabbath and self-described Prince of Darkness.
Oh, come on, Sharon. I'm f***ing Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of f***ing Darkness. What's f***ing evil about a bottle of f***ing bubbles?
His wife, Sharon Osbourne, stayed with him through thick and thin.
What do you think the secret is? You guys have been through
I don't know.
so much.
It's, I'm in the rock and roll business. You rock and you roll, you just get on with it.
Those musicians who've just gone with it still left us their talents. And that makes us feel so good.
Nights in white satin, never reaching the end. I sit and watch as days go by. Crazy horses, crazy horses, so happy together.
Happy together just might describe what most people were feeling when they were in the company of the legendary Diane Keaton.
La-di-da, la-di-da, la-la, yeah.
Some called her quirky, even kooky.
I love it.
But everyone agreed that she was talented beyond measure.
What as? Huh? What as?
What do you mean, what as?
What as? Your girlfriend?
What does that mean?
What as? Your girlfriend, your mistress, your paramour, your concubine?
Always holding her own with the best of them.
I really like you.
I really like you.
Yeah, but I love you like you. I do. I love you.
I think that one of the reasons I've been able to be around for as long as I have is because I have been in funny movies.
Seems like
she left her mark not only as an actor, but with her fashion sense, too.
Seems like old times.
Diane Keaton was certainly unique, as most of those we remember are. There are far too many to name. But for their talents, their passions, their love and care, their influence, we are forever grateful. To all of them, we bid a very fond hail and farewell.
Thank you.